Hi, this is your host, Kristen Howe. I'm so excited to welcome you to our call with today's guest, Dr. Andy Fuehl. Dr. Andy is the best-selling author of Wealth Without a Job. After years of loyal service working in corporate America, he was laid off and his income went to zero overnight. After modeling some of the most successful people on the planet, Dr. Andy implemented what he discovered in his own life and went from being unemployed to becoming a millionaire in under 3 years. He now teaches those same secrets and strategies to wealth that he discovered and has helped thousands of people to do the same. He continues to fulfill his mission of making this a more prosperous world for average people like himself. And on today's call, you will discover how to have wealth without a job. The 3 simple steps for going from where you are to being wealthy. You'll discover how to earn more money in any economy doing work you love. You'll find out how to beat the odds regardless of what anyone else tells you. I love that. You'll find out how to take out the mystery of being a successful entrepreneur, how to make decisions like wealthy people do, and how to make the decisions that lead to wealth quickly, easily, and without stress. So I can't wait. I know you guys can't wait now that I've told you everything we're going to talk about. Dr. Andy, thank you so much for joining us today, and welcome to the call.
Well, thanks for having me on your call. I'm really excited to be here.
Yeah, and this is going to be such a great match. This is such an amazing group of people who are listening, and your energy and what you've done, I can't wait to share you with them. So I don't want to wait any longer. Can you just go ahead? I mean, I gave a little splash of your story, but can you give us just a bit more of your story and how you went from basically zero income to millionaire in less than 3 years? I mean, talk about manifesting quickly.
Well, that is true. In fact, you know, some people would say that I was an overnight success after 3 years. Well, actually just under 3 years, but it really wasn't that simple because at the time I really didn't understand what it took to be a true entrepreneur. And what happened was I was in a corporate job for over 15 years. I was making a 6-figure income. And then all of a sudden, one day, 1/3 of the company literally evaporated. 50,000 people gone in a blink of an eye. And that wasn't even the worst part. The worst part is in that moment in time, all the other companies that were in the high-tech sector, I used to be in the high-tech sector, every other company in that sector was laying off too. So what do you think my odds were of getting another job? Yeah, pretty slim. Yeah, it was interesting because even after a while, people that I knew that were laid off at the same time were still struggling years later to find a job.
Jeez.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was really crazy. Well, once I got past through all that, I started getting into business. I said, well, I didn't know what I was going to do when I grow up at that point. So I said, okay, well, I'm going to use the skills that I had when I was in corporate America. Well, here's what happened. I had multiple failed businesses, 3 of them, and I went 6 figures upside down.
Oof.
And I don't suggest that you go out and quit your job today to be an entrepreneur until you understand what it takes to really be an entrepreneur. Because that was the problem that I had. And that's why it took me, you know, just about 3 years to figure out how to do this. But once I figured this piece out and I found my true purpose in life and quit living my inherited purpose, everything changed. And that moment in time, once I figured it out, even though I wasn't sure exactly that I could make money living my life on purpose, I even had doubts about that. But it literally turned around from being 6 figures upside down to becoming a millionaire in just under 3 years.
Wow. You know what I love actually is that you're admitting, yeah, look, I had doubts. You know, I think so many people think that the decision happens and you make that choice and it's at a time when, you know, suddenly you have no doubts. So I love that you just shared, look, I did have doubts if this could happen and if I could make money at it. So thank you for being honest about that. That's very powerful.
Well, you're quite welcome because that is a very important point that you brought up there because here's the thing. When I first figured out my true purpose in life, and I'll be quite frank about it, I mean, I thought I was going to get skinny on that deal. So it's one of those things, and I looked at my purpose in life, and I says, there's no way I'm going to make money at this. And I did have my doubts, but when I finally dove in, everything started to change.
That's awesome. Now, I know your background is in technology, which you just said. So what compelled you to write the book Wealth Without a Job? I mean, to me, that seems like a different thing. So
it's kind of a big stretch, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm like, okay.
Well, and this was exactly my point, right? What led me to writing this was this. I wanted to make sure that others learn the exact secrets that I did and make that successful transition to going from a job mentality to an entrepreneur mentality so they didn't have to go through all the pains I did. I went through a lot of material. I've taken a lot of seminars and everything else during that period of time. And I tell you, there is a lot of stuff out there that does not work. And one of the criteria that I said is anything that I teach others to do, it must work and I must have used it. The second thing is it's got to work fast. Because there's stuff that's out there that works, but it's just too slow. Mm. And being an entrepreneur, basically you have to succeed before you go broke.
You're absolutely right. You get your back up against the wall at some point. You're like, well, this has to happen now. And so I love that you're saying works fast. Now, here's my question. I'd love for you to clarify. By fast, do you mean magic pill?
Oh, absolutely not. There is no magic pill. If you think there is a magic pill, I'll tell you right now, you're in big trouble. There is none. Yeah. If I had it, believe me, I would be a gazillionaire at this point. But there is no such thing, and it's just a fallacy. And I'm glad you really brought that up because so many people believe that whatever they invest in, any kind of training materials or whatever, when they invest in those things, it's like it's going to be like magic. It's going to happen. They listen to it once or they read it once, and mystically, poof,
right,
they're successful. Well, I got some bad news for you. It won't work. But if you work it, it will work.
And fast. That's what I love about what you said. It will work fast.
Yeah, it's really the consistency that makes it work fast. So when you have a proven technique and you use that proven technique consistently, keyword, consistently, that's when you will have success.
I love that. And that's with anything. Okay, so what does it mean, when you say wealth without having a job? What does that truly mean?
What that means is you're in charge of your own destiny. You control how much money you want to make. You control what you do during the course of the day. That's what it really boils down to. You take control of your life because think about this. When you're in a job, who's in control?
Everybody but you.
Yeah, well, there you go. And if you don't do what you're told, what happens?
You lose it.
You get fired.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know about you, but let's just explore this option for a moment, okay? So if I have a job, okay, and I make $100,000 a year and I get fired, what's my income now?
0, I believe.
Great. Okay. Now, if I had, say, 100,000 customers all paying me $1 each and I lose one customer, how much am I making?
$99,000.
There you go.
Yep.
Okay. So with that being said, which one's safer?
Yeah, I'll take option 2, Alex. That's always good when you can reference Jeopardy.
There you go.
Okay, so then why? Because here's the thing, and I love that you just said which one's safer, because it's a huge myth around being an entrepreneur is that, that's not safe, that's not safe, because so many entrepreneurs do go out of business. So why is that?
Well, that's a great question. Here's what happens. Statistically, 50% of all businesses fail in the first year. 95% of all businesses fail in the first 5 years. Now, that seems pretty grim, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But here's where the crux comes in. Most business owners come into a business with a job mentality. Now, let's explore that a little further. Okay, so let me ask you this. When you went to grammar school, okay, you had these people called teachers, right?
Yep.
And these teachers had a what?
Syllabus.
No, a job, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, the teachers had a job, absolutely.
Well, yeah, they weren't entrepreneurs, were they?
No.
No, okay. So could they teach you how to be an entrepreneur?
No.
No. Okay, so then you went to high school and you had teachers, and they had a what?
A job.
A job. Oh, so could they teach you how to be an entrepreneur?
Nope.
Okay, well, let's digress here just a little bit. Okay, let's go back to your parents and grandparents and other relatives. Okay, most parents and relatives, they had a what?
A job.
A job. Could they teach you how to be an entrepreneur?
Nope.
No. Okay, and then you get into college where you have these great professors, okay, and they have a what?
A job.
Can they teach you how to be an entrepreneur?
Nope.
And if you were so fortunate to go to Harvard Business School, like my old partner Phil Lott, God rest his soul, unfortunately he's no longer with us, he went to Harvard Business School. I mean, you would think that you could learn how to be an entrepreneur there, right? But those professors have a what?
A job.
Ah, and this was interesting. Now, Phil Lott, who's the best-selling author of Money, is my friend, and he was also my partner for many years, and we co-authored Wealth Without a Job. And he, with a Harvard business degree, failed miserably. Think about this one for a minute as an entrepreneur. He did great in the corporate world, as did I. I've got a master's degree in electrical engineering. I did great in the high-tech sector as far as that goes. But when it came to be an entrepreneur, that's where I had a problem. This is what they teach you, right? Get a good education, get good grades, get a good job, make lots of money, and retire comfortably. Not going to happen. With that kind of mentality, you have a job mentality. As an entrepreneur, it's literally a 180-degree shift in thinking. You're literally going to be doing everything opposite of what you think. And if you can get that right and you get the mindset correct, then you will have it.
Perfect. Okay, and I completely agree with that. So, just because I know people listening are probably going, wait a minute, are you saying that a person with a good education or success in their job, because there are a lot of people on here who are probably very good at their jobs, that it's unlikely for them to succeed as an entrepreneur?
Only if they get their mindset right will they succeed. See, the thing is, if they're focused on just working on their business, what they're doing is they're bringing their job mentality with, okay? And when you went to school, let's face it, okay, what did you do? You memorized it and you parroted back what you memorized on the test, right?
Yeah.
Once you got the grade, you forgot about it.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So literally, school taught you how to be a good parrot. How well do you think that's going to work as an entrepreneur?
It's not.
It's not. In fact, my master's degree actually hindered me from being an entrepreneur because I thought too much like a job holder. Once I got my mindset straight, that's when everything changed. That's why mindset is so key. And maybe you've noticed I keep focusing on mindset.
Yeah, I mean, and that's one of the reasons I wanted to have you on here, because I think that's so important, and I know a lot of people are struggling, and one of the main things that I think everybody needs to realize is being an entrepreneur, it's exactly what you're saying. Anybody can do it as long as you get your mindset in the right place. I mean, or at least I think that's what you're saying.
That is correct.
Okay.
That is correct. Mindset is the biggest chunk of this whole equation.
Yeah, I think it's so powerful. And, you know, I think it's so easy in our world to think, oh, no, well, mindset, that'll be great. My mindset will change after I'm successful.
Exactly. And it doesn't work that way. It works the opposite.
Yeah. Okay, so talk to me, because you said something earlier, and my ears sort of perked up. Talk to me about the difference between inherited purpose and true purpose in life, because I think that's going to really resonate with people.
This is another key point here, okay? Inherited purpose is what you were given during your programming cycle. Now, let's talk about your programming cycle. So when you were first born to about the age of 7, you took in everything uncritically. From 7 to 14, you looked up to all your role models. That would be your parents, teachers, authority figures, any of those types of people. And from 14 to 21, you actually took in everything uncritically from your peers. And of course, you know, at that age group knows everything better than everybody else. So now you're learning everybody else's junk. Now, with that being said, what happened is maybe your parents told you, become a doctor, a lawyer, a butcher, candlestick maker, whatever it is. Doesn't matter. You were told this up front. And so guess what? My parents told me, well, you know what? We've worked hard, and my dad, he used to work in a factory for a long time, and then he became a tool and die maker. And so he said, this is very hard work. It's hard life. He goes, get a good education, get a good job working using your head. And that's exactly what I did. That was my inherited purpose.
Right.
Now, when I discovered my true purpose in life, which was completely opposite of my inherited purpose in life, this is what made the big shift, because your true purpose in life, once you figure out what it is, it's this God-given talent that you've been given that only you can deliver. And even if it's the same type of business, okay, I mean, I've had people who were in network marketing businesses, the same network marketing business, but the person who was living their true purpose of life in life, working in that network marketing business, made money beyond belief, where someone else living their inherited purpose, but getting into that business that was wrong for them for the money, failed miserably. Let me give you an example. I had a client who got into the real estate business, okay? And so he came up to me one day and he says, Andy, he goes, I got a really big problem. I says, yeah, well, what's your problem? He says, well, I'm 70 grand upside down. I said, okay, well, what's the problem? He goes, no, you don't understand. I'm 70 grand upside down. I said, no, you don't understand. I said, what's the problem? I said, that's only a result. I said, congratulations. I said, you produced a great result. I said, not what you wanted, but you did produce a result. And I said, you did well at it. I said, so let's break this down. I said, let's see what you were doing. I said, so you're investing in real estate. Great. I said, what system are you using for investing in real estate? So he told me. I said, oh, okay. I said, I was familiar with that system. It's a good system. I said, all right, it's not the system. I said, what market are you investing in? So he tells me the market. Now, this is what got me, and this is when it really sunk in for me. He says, I'm investing in this market here, and it happened to be, at the time, the hottest real estate market around. Okay. And he says to me this. He says, there are people around me who have no clue what they're doing, making money hand over fist, yet everything I touch just turns to crap. And he says, I'm losing money left and right. I said, I get that. I said, I think I may know what the issue is. I said, have you looked at your purpose in life? He says, no. I said, well, let's look at that right now. So he did. And we went through the exercise. And in fact, this is an exercise. I mean, the big joke that we always had was it takes 3 months and 45 minutes to do this thing. You wonder why?
Yeah.
It's 3 months of procrastinating and 45 minutes to do it.
That's why I was laughing. That's what I gathered.
So we just cut to the chase and said, okay, let's go do this thing. All right. So he does his purpose in life, and then I ask him this fatal question. I said, now, let me ask you this. Real estate investing, does it express your purpose in life? And he comes back and he says, no. I said, well, there's your problem. I said, no matter what you touch in real estate, I said, it's going to go south on you. Why? Because it's not for you. He goes, okay. He goes, well, what is for me? I said, well, then I said, let's ask this question instead. I said, what business would express your purpose in life? Now, this is what he tells me. He says, he goes, I really love nutraceuticals. Now, me personally, I couldn't sell pills, lotions, and potions if my life depended on it, because that's not my purpose. Even though I may use those products, I can't sell them. But this person, what he did, I suggested to him, I said, look, you don't want to start up a nutraceutical company, all right? I mean, there's like way too much upfront money for that. I said, why don't you get into a network marketing company that would fulfill what it is that you like to sell? He goes, okay, I can do that. And he did. Here's what happened. In 6 months, he went from being 70 grand upside down to being in the black. And from there on, he was making at least 20 grand a month. Consistent.
Within 6 months, he turned that around?
Within 6 months.
Wow.
And that was the difference between inherited purpose and true purpose.
Okay. So how do we find our true purpose? And how long does it take? You know, because I know a lot of people are probably listening going, that's great. I'd love to find my true purpose. When you ask me what my true purpose is, I go, so how do we do it?
Oh, well, that's a great question. In the Wealth Without a Job system, the purpose in life process is actually in there. And it literally just takes you 45 minutes to sit down, go through with that process, fill it out, and then ask this question. What vehicle or what business would express my purpose in life? And then you have the third component of what you need, because the first one is mindset, which is absolutely critical. The second one is figuring out your purpose in life. And then the third key is to getting the right vehicle. Because even if you think you're living your purpose, but you have the wrong vehicle because you're looking at the money, you're going to fail miserably. Trust me, I know. I have 3 failed businesses to prove this.
Yeah. Okay. I love that. And I think that's so true. So that's really powerful. So mindset, find your purpose, which only takes 45 minutes, assuming you don't procrastinate for the 3 months ahead of time. And then basically which car you're going to drive to get there.
Pretty much. That's really it in a nutshell. And once you have those things identified and you really start living them, everything changes for you.
That makes complete sense. So here's the thing, because I know that there are, and we kind of talked about this for a second before, there are a lot of misconceptions that people have about becoming an entrepreneur, things they've been told, things that they've heard, and a lot of myths. So could you share a few of the myths or the misconceptions that you think are, you know, most important that people listening might have heard about becoming an entrepreneur?
Absolutely. This is one of the most critical pieces, because we all have these things called preconceived notions or pre-programming that we've received along the way. So one of the things is your beliefs or your programming that you received as a child has just a lot to do with this. Now, if you have a job mentality and you think your education or skill set is going to make you successful as an entrepreneur, you're going to have a really rude awakening. It is not. In fact, I've dealt in one of the businesses that I dealt with, what happened is I thought to myself, okay, I got into this business looking at it from the money. And I came in it with the wrong attitude, because I thought, well, hey, I've got a master's degree in electrical engineering. I'm a pretty smart guy. I can pick up anything. Well, the person who I was working with was making about 50 grand a month. And this guy, I mean, literally, if you talk to him, you would think he just fell off the turnip truck. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, if he can make 50 grand a month, so can I. And guess what? Oh, what a rude awakening I got. Because I came in there with the wrong mentality. I was not thinking like an entrepreneur. Okay? So getting into a business just because it looks like it could make you a lot of money will actually make you go broke faster than anything else. So keep that in mind. Because what most people focus on is the money. And if you focus on the money, it runs away. Now, another thing that you really have to look at, and this is working on your foundation, which is your mindset. So here we go again. This is where everybody gets it backwards. Okay? And those successful people who get this formula right have tremendous success. Now, 90% of success as an entrepreneur is mindset. Then you find the business of your choice, and the procedure with the rest of it that's remaining, the 10%, is what you do inside your business. Now, here's what most people do. They work 90% on their business and 10% on their mindset.
Yep.
Okay? Thinking, oh, well, you know, if I work more in my business, I'm going to make more money. Well, I've got a client that came to me that had exactly this problem. Would you like to hear what happened?
Absolutely.
She came to me and she says, I only have an hour and a half a day to work on my business. Now, she was also in network marketing. And what she did is she worked an hour and a half a day on her network marketing, and if she was lucky, she might make one sale in a week. And that was a big stretch, by the way.
Okay.
I said, if she was really lucky. Most of the time, there was 0 sales. So I asked her, I said, well, how well is that working for you? And she goes, well, not real well. I said, great. I said, how about we try something else? I said, here's what I want you to do. I want you to work on your mindset for 45 minutes and prospect for 45 minutes. Now, what she said to me next was critical. This says a lot. She comes back to me and says, what do you mean I'm going to use half my time working on mindset? Are you crazy? I said, well, maybe I am, but how well is your system working? And she goes, okay, not very well. I said, are you willing to do 45 minutes a day of mindset before you start prospecting? She goes, yep, okay, I'll do it. Now listen to this. As soon as she started working on her mindset, I mean, this literally took only a couple of weeks. She was getting consistent 3 to 5 sales a week in 45 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how important it is. But I love that you have stories like that it's like, this isn't just me telling you how important it is. Here's the proof of how important it is. I think that's really powerful.
It really is, because I used to have this formula backwards myself.
Sure.
At first I thought, oh no, working on the business is far more important than the mindset. Well, when I finally started getting 6 figures upside down, I realized, oh no. I've got it in reverse. That's when everything started to shift.
Yeah, it makes so much sense. And, you know, it's one of those things that we have to just be willing. You said it before. Are you willing to do that? Are you willing to give that a try? And, you know, to really get in there and commit to, okay, for this period of time, I am doing mindset. So I love that, because that willingness is a huge element, I think.
It really is. It really is. And here's just a couple more myths that seem to be problematic for people. It takes money to make money.
Yeah.
That's a good one. In fact, I've got proof that you really don't. In fact, I remember when I was in my journey, there was a point where I started really thinking about how to do this. And literally in one deal that I did with no money out of my pocket, I put 90 grand in my pocket.
That's proof.
That's proof. And literally, I put $500,000 in my pocket in 6 months doing the exact same thing. No money out of my pocket. I proved it to myself a few times. It does work, but if you think it takes money to make money, because let's face it, isn't that a belief that maybe we've heard, or something like this? Money doesn't grow on
trees. Yep.
Wow. Do we have the same parents? I thought I was the only one who was taught that.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's it.
We must be related.
I heard it somewhere.
Oh, okay. So somehow or another, we're all connected, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, here's another myth. You've got to work long, hard hours to succeed as an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Now, the client I just told you about, she only worked an hour and a half a day, 5 days a week, and she became successful.
Yep, and half of it was on mindset.
Yep, there you go. And here's another good one. You need a good education to become wealthy. Well, let's take a look at a few different people. Henry Ford, grade school education. Thomas Edison, pretty much the same thing. He didn't play well with others. Bill Gates, college dropout. Do I have to say any more?
No, I think that's good. It's pretty clear. Yeah, those are huge, and it's true. I mean, I think those are the things that people get in the way of people even, embarking on the entrepreneur path. Exactly.
So if you really think that an education is going to help you, it's really not. In fact, it's all about your mindset. getting your mindset straight will help you so much. You have no idea until you actually start living that.
Mm-hmm. It's so true, and you're absolutely right. You get it when you go, oh, that's why that's working. Now, here's something I do want to bring up, because I think a huge epidemic is that people will start things and then they run into inevitable challenges, because this is life and there are challenges, and then they freak out and they stop. They give up. So I think it helps to be prepared, because if you hear the things that you're probably going to run into, then you can be prepared for them. So what are some of the potential pitfalls of being an entrepreneur that people can go, oh, okay, this potentially is going to come up, and here's what I do if and when it does. Can you help us with that?
Oh, absolutely, I can. Okay, so first of all, we have to think about what is it that's going to happen. We have to change our mindset. So let's work on that right now. So the first thing that all successful people do is they make a decision. Now, this is where most people have a problem, because guess what? As a job mentality holder, who makes the decisions for you?
The boss.
The boss. He tells you what to do, when to do it, and typically how to do it. Or even if he gives you a little bit of latitude, you're still under control.
Yep.
So you now have to make a decision to be a successful entrepreneur. And believe it or not, when I ask this question to most people, I'm like, have you made the decision to be a successful entrepreneur? And the answer inevitably comes back, well, no, not specifically. I said, well, there's your first problem. I said, so if you never really made the decision, I said, how long do you think you're going to last? You're not. You're going to get shaken out really quick. So let's look at the second thing that all wealthy people do. The second thing is once they make a decision, they commit to it. And here's the commitment level that they take. They will either keep working that decision until they've exhausted all possibilities and figure out that this is the wrong path, or they succeed. And if it is the wrong path, then they make a new decision to change the course, but they still stick to the original decision to succeed. So they never give up. Now, but isn't making a commitment yet another decision?
Yeah, absolutely.
You have to decide to commit and then commit. And see, most people, even if they make the decision, they don't make the commitment going behind the decision. So what happens is the first obstacle they come against, it's like, oops, well, that didn't work. You know how many times I've heard that from people? I said, well, how many times did you do this? Well, I did it once. Oh, okay. I get it. So you were an expert right off the bat and it just didn't work. Okay. When you start to look at those key pieces and you start to realize, it's like, well, hold on a sec, right? So did I really commit or did I not? And the answer clearly is no, I did not. And in the Wealth Without a Job program, there's a lot of mindset pieces that actually work on these particular skill sets, because it is a skill set. Guess what? We are not natural decision makers. We have to be taught how to be decision makers. More importantly, we also have to be taught how to commit to those decisions. If we don't have those key elements, then it will go sideways on us every single time. I've even fallen trapped to that myself, where I've done something, I thought I did it right, and I'm like, wow, that didn't work. Did it really not work, or was it me that didn't work?
Yeah, exactly. Again, this is another point where it's like, I'm glad that you brought up, hey, I've fallen into that trap. You know, here you are, extremely successful, and you've fallen into that trap. You know, you're sort of shedding light on the fact that, in fact, we're all human, no matter how successful we become. And so it's a matter of getting yourself back on track. Is that a fair assessment?
That is a fair assessment. In fact, I mean, this was one of the good things that actually happened from corporate America, believe it or not. Now, at the end, I used to manage some very large programs. And the last program I managed was a multi-billion-dollar program. And in that role, I really learned decision-making and making commitments, because the things that I was working on, I mean, it's kind of like if you didn't do it right, it was going to be a major disaster.
Right.
Billions of dollars were at stake. Needless to say, your job was at stake. So that was one good thing that came with. But when I became an entrepreneur, I didn't take that with me right away, which was interesting because I thought, oh, well, I'm an entrepreneur now. It's my rules. Oops.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
But I missed that one key point. And the real point there is, hey, if it happens to you, it's okay. Hey, I admit it. I failed in 3 different businesses. So what? I got back up, and in the 4th business, everything turned around. Robert Kiyosaki failed, I think, at 7 businesses before he hit it.
Yep.
Donald Trump, bankrupt 3 times. Look at where he's at. Why? Because he made the decision to succeed, and then he committed to it.
Yeah, and I love what you said about the commitment behind the commitment, because that's so true and that's so powerful. So everything you've just shared, that's how we make decisions like the wealthy do. Is that correct?
That is correct. What most people do, they make this decision. Well, let me see if it's going to work. Okay, and then they try it once. Oh, well, that didn't work.
Yeah, try is a lethal word.
Try is failure with honor.
Yeah, exactly. Well, at least I tried. Yeah.
Well, that's it. That's it. And it's a great excuse, isn't it? Oh, I tried.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I tried. What? Okay, so what you said, there are 3 simple and powerful principles, which, everybody loves simple and powerful. Most people don't ever really know about how to create abundance. So what are those, please tell us the three things, the 3 simple yet powerful principles, because and everybody write this down, not if you're driving.
Well, here we go again. We've actually covered all 3, but let me put it to you very clearly. The first step, and this is in priority order. Okay? Now, step 1 and step 2, you can pretty much do simultaneously. However, step 1 is the critical one. Because even if you have step 2, but you miss step 1, you're destined to fail.
Right.
Okay, so step number 1 is get your mindset tuned up. Period. End of story. 90% of all success lies in your mindset. Period. The second step, you've got to discover your true purpose in life. Step number 3, you have to develop a business that expresses your true purpose in life, not going after the money, because the money is nothing more than a byproduct. And I'll tell you what, I have seen more people succeed where they thought, there is no way I'm going to make money with my purpose in life. And I said, no, you're absolutely wrong, because if this really is your purpose in life, it's as if you could not fail. I said, go out there and just do it. And after they went out and did it, it was like, wow. I had one client. He was in the oil and gas business. Mm-hmm. And at the same time, he was also in a different business. Well, he put off the oil and gas thing because, well, he wasn't real excited about it at the time. And he was working on this other business, but it wasn't working. And here he was. He's just like, okay. He goes, I don't get it. What's going on here? And I said, all right. I said, well, let's take a look at your mindset first. I said, are you really committed? And what we figured out was he was not real committed to the oil and gas business at the time. He was very committed to the other business, but here was the secondary problem. We looked at his purpose in life, and guess what? The second business that he really wanted to do wasn't in alignment with his purpose. Okay? So that one wasn't making money. But the first business, the oil and gas, was in alignment. So I said, here's what we're going to do. Why don't you go ahead and ditch the second business because it's not in alignment with your purpose in life. I said, let's go over and work on your oil and gas business. He goes, yeah, but it doesn't excite me. I said, let me ask you something. I said, have you made the commitment to make this thing work? And he said, well, no. I said, oh, all right. I said, how well is that working for you? He goes, not good. I said, all right, how about we do something different? He goes, okay. So he made the commitment at that point, and he's been making $50,000 a month.
I love that story because not only is there more proof, but also I think there's something to be said for the excitement comes with the commitment. The commitment's scary as you know what sometimes, but once you make it, that's where the excitement comes. Do you agree?
Mm-hmm. And that's really what it is. And when you're living your true purpose in life, that's also where your excitement comes.
Mm-hmm.
Because here's the thing. If you're willing to do it for free,
yeah,
okay, then you will make more money than you ever imagined. But if you're not willing to do it for free, guaranteed you're going to have a lot of problems.
Yeah.
Because you're not living your life on purpose.
It's so true. Now, is this how, because I know you say that, and I agree with this, that we can create wealth in absolutely any economy. Is this, these three principles, is this how you can create wealth in any economy?
This is exactly how you can create it in any economy, because here's the thing. Is what you're doing economic specific? This is where most people get it wrong. They're just like, well, the economy's terrible, blah, blah, blah. You know, nobody's got any money. Nobody's spending any money. Oh, really? Are you sure about that?
Yeah.
Okay. Here's the thing. There is still a lot of money being spent. The question is, okay, are you in the correct vehicle?
Yeah.
Because you may think just because this particular vehicle expresses your purpose in life that you're going to make money. You have to think a little bit outside the box sometimes and say, okay, well, this particular vehicle may not, but what other vehicle is there that would express my purpose in life that could make money? And when you start looking at it from that perspective, you start to very quickly realize it's like, hey, wait a minute, there's multiple vehicles that I can choose to make money that would still express my purpose in life.
I love that because it opens up options. So you don't feel like, oh, it's either this or it's that, you know, and I think that's really powerful and freeing.
It really is when you really understand the concept that I'm explaining here, because once you know that it's not just one particular business that could express your purpose in life, you have multiple businesses that could express your purpose in life. In fact, I've had multiple businesses that expressed my purpose in life, and they've succeeded. The ones that did not express my purpose in life, I guarantee you, those were problematic.
Yeah. Well, I love it. Even just that one thing. I mean, the one thing that you said, which can be such a great barometer. If you would do it for free, great. If you wouldn't, you're in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what a great, like, that's just a quick question you can ask yourself. Hey, would I do this for free?
Yeah, and most people would. Yeah, and most people, they say, well, you're crazy. I wouldn't do that for free. I said, well, then it's not the right thing.
Right. So if you won the lottery, would you stop doing the thing that you're doing? And if the answer is yes, well, okay, then time to reevaluate. Is that?
That is correct.
Look at it? Okay.
That is correct. And by the way, as an entrepreneur, I'd leave that lottery mentality at home.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
because that will not help.
Yeah, right.
Hey, my dad's been playing the lottery for God only knows as long as I remember. And I told him the other day, I said, hey, did you win yet? He says, well, no. I said, will you hurry up already? I said, the funny thing about that is I always tease him about it. I said, I said, all those years that I didn't play, I said, I think I'm a lot further ahead than you are.
Right. Yeah.
And he goes, yeah, you got a point.
But I'm still playing.
But I'm still playing.
Yeah. Now, I love this, and I can't wait for you to share this with everybody, because I know that you say that there is literally one action that we can physically do right now. So this is, everybody listen up, because this is so cool, to make huge changes in our quality of life from here on out. So there is one physical action we can do right now. What is that? Right now, the one physical action that you can do is make the decision to succeed as an entrepreneur and commit to it. That's it. If you do that right now, I mean, literally, and you do it with a little bit of power behind you, you don't even need a lot. But if you do it with some power and some feeling behind it, you will get where you want to go. But it ultimately starts with that one thing, is make the decision and the commitment to live your life on purpose and accept nothing less. Everything starts with a decision, and nothing will happen without it.
when you're committed to that decision to do whatever it takes to discover your purpose in life and express it and change your mindset and succeed as that entrepreneur, I guarantee you, your life will never be the same. And in the Wealth Without a Job system, it literally takes you through that step by step. But that is the one key action that you can take right now to make it all happen for yourself.
And I so agree. I think that's so powerful. And I love how passionately you said that. And I also love that everybody, please remember, in the beginning, you mentioned how even when you made that decision, you still had doubts. So it's not that you're going to make this decision and not have a single doubt, but you're making the decision. Is that right?
That is correct. The key is don't worry about the doubts.
Yeah.
Okay. They will subside over time. And that's all about tuning up your mindset. I mean, there are times when I sit there and I look at projects that I've done in the past, and as I was in the middle of them, I'm like, oh, I wonder if this thing's ever going to pan out.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, like overnight, this thing just explodes and wow, everything's great. But up until that point, it's like, ugh. Right? It's like, how long is this going to take?
Yeah, exactly. How long do I have to sit in this part of it? Okay, so and I just want to get clear on this. Does it matter, any current situation? So does it matter where your life is right now? Absolutely not. It really doesn't matter at all. The key is what do you want to do going forward? Because here's the thing. Can you change anything that already happened? No. Because that's the past, right? Yep. Okay. Can you change the future? No. Well, you're one of the few people that actually got that one right. Most people, oh yeah, I can change my future. Really? Oh, good. Well, good luck to you. Have fun with that. Okay. What is the only one thing that you can change? This moment right now. And in every moment, you have an opportunity to make a decision and a commitment to that decision. The question that I have right now is, what decision are you making? And what commitment are you making? Here's what most people do. They don't decide. Well, guess what? They just made a decision not to decide. Congratulations. Yeah. I love that. That's so powerful. I love that you just said that. In every moment, because you're right, all we have is the current moment. In every single moment, you can make a decision and make a commitment to that decision. So it really comes down to, so you're saying in order to start manifesting wealth and abundance, no matter what your situation is right now, we need to make that decision in each and every moment, basically. Absolutely. That is the most critical thing, because if you don't make a decision, guess what? The universe makes a decision for you. Yeah, it does. Based on your past experiences. And why is that? Because at the unconscious level, you have pre-programming that attracts what's in there. Oops. We're back to that mindset thing again, huh? Yeah, it's funny how that keeps cropping up. So do me a favor, because you've shared with us some really amazing stories throughout, by the way, that's so great, because we get those glimpses of proof, which I think is so helpful for all of us. Do you have, I don't know, one or two more stories that you can share with us from people that have, worked with what you're teaching and have experienced like massive turnarounds? Yes. I have one student who came from the UK. And he came to me, and he was having just all sorts of problems in negotiations. And he actually took the Wealth Without a Job course, and this is all based on the Wealth Without a Job system. And what he did is literally he took what he learned there, and he started negotiating better. And I told him, I said, if you get your mindset straight, and I said, you really understand what this is all about. I said, your negotiations are going to flow very smoothly. So he was living his life on purpose. He had the right vehicle. So we knew that. But the problem is the mindset. Now, once he got that mindset piece straight, here's what happened. So he goes into a negotiation, and he was negotiating on a piece of real estate.
And before, he was just having problems left and right. Couldn't get a decent deal. This last deal that he did, he literally put in an extra $90,000 in his pocket. And the funniest part about it is when he contacted me, he says to me, he goes, "You're never going to believe this." I said, "Try me." And he said, "Remember all this stuff that you were talking about in the Wealth Without a Job program?" I said, "Yeah." And he says, "The funny thing about it is," he goes, "I really took it to heart and I made the decision to use what you told me." And he said, "It was almost like my mouth was possessed and your words were coming out." And he says, "I put 90 extra grand in my pocket because of that." He goes, "I just want to thank you for that." I said, "Well, that's awesome." I said, "Well, go out there and turn some more deals." Well, very shortly thereafter, he turned numerous different deals that literally just put hundreds of thousands of dollars in his pocket.
Wow. It's so exciting because, truly you're looking at what actually happens and in a massive way. And as you said before, quickly.
That's it. Now, let me share one more story with you.
Perfect.
This one will absolutely blow your mind.
Okay.
So this woman comes to our training and she said, "I spent the last dime I had to get here." She says, "I haven't got any more money." She goes, "But what I saw, I believe that this is the missing piece that I have been looking for." I said, "Well, great." I said, "Well, hang on, pay attention." And I said, "And let's see what happens." She goes, "Okay." Now, partway through the seminar, she goes, "This truly is the missing piece." And she says, "I want to buy all your programs." She says, "But I don't have any money." I said, "Well, that's not a problem." I said, "You just haven't figured out how to manifest it yet." And she goes, "Oh." I said, "Listen," I said, "by the time you finish this seminar," I said, "if you really understand and grasp the concepts that are being taught here," I said, "you will have more than enough money to get everything that you want." She says, "Okay, I'm willing to listen." Now, I'll tell you something. I have never seen anybody take notes like this woman. I mean, her pen was on fire. I mean, there was smoke coming from that thing. But here's what happened. On the third day of the seminar, she comes up to me and she says, "Oh, by the way, I just purchased everything." I said, "Really?" I said, "So you figured out how to get the money?" She goes, "Yep." She goes, "You were right." She goes, "I just didn't think about it the right way." I said, "Well, there you go." She goes, "Well, I look forward to seeing you in the rest of the classes." I said, and at that point, all these classes were like one right after another.
Okay.
And so she starts coming to every one of these classes. And 6 months later, she comes back to the original class. And I asked her, I said, "Elizabeth," I said, "why are you here?" I said, "You already took this class." She goes, "Well, I tripled my income and I want to do it again." I said, "Well, that's certainly possible." I said, "Well, welcome aboard." Now, so she goes through this class, and a month later, she calls me up. Now, imagine this. She calls me up, and she's like a little schoolgirl. She's like, Andy, guess what? I said, What? Tell me. And she goes, "Today, I became a millionaire." This was 7 months from where she started.
Wow.
Okay, I told you I took the long route.
I was going to say, wow, you really did take the long route.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I'm a slow learner. I'm one of those educated people.
Yeah, I got you. You were doing all the learning for us. That's
it. Okay, well, here's the thing. Okay, I weeded everything out, so what Elizabeth got was the cream.
Yep.
So she didn't have to sift through all the garbage that I did, which is good. That's exactly what I wanted. So in 7 months, she literally went from being broke to being a millionaire. Now, I haven't told you the best part.
Oh, okay.
She did this at the young age of 79.
Wow. That's awesome.
Now,
because that's one of my things is it's never too late. I love that.
It is never too late. Absolutely. Because here's the thing. If I can do it, anybody can do it. If Elizabeth can do it, anybody can do it. The question right now is, Have you made the decision and the commitment to living your life on purpose and getting your mindset tuned up? Have you done that? That's all Elizabeth did in the beginning.
Wow. And I love that. I love that it's so clearly the first step. And I know, I mean, obviously there's so much more to do with this process with you. And I know you put together a special offer for us. Okay, so everybody, and do this right now, because this is so powerful, what Dr. Andy's talking about right now. So go ahead, click on the special offer button that's on this webpage, and we will take you right there. Definitely go and listen, because Dr. Andy's going to talk us through what we're going to find there. And this is the coolest thing. I've gone through it, so I can attest for it. So Dr. Andy, let us know what we'll find there.
Well, that's great. What you'll find there is you're going to find a 14 CD set, which was based on our 3-day Wealth Without a Job intensive program that Elizabeth and thousands and thousands and thousands of other students went to. This program will literally teach you the secrets on how to have wealth without a job. We have had so many success stories come just from that one program alone. You're going to learn how the successful and the wealthy people think. You're going to learn the 5 secrets that all millionaires know and use on a daily basis. You can work at your own pace from the comfort of your own home. There won't be any travel involved or anything like that. You're going to discover the 55 most common obstacles that stop you from becoming wealthy and how to easily overcome them. Did you know that there was 55 negative beliefs around money?
No.
Wow. And here's the worst part. If you have any one of them, it will take you out. So that might be an important thing to know, huh?
Yes, very important.
So you're definitely going to learn that. You're going to discover why reliance on a job for 100% of your income is a really risky strategy. And in fact, my mom to this day still says, you know, you ought to think about getting a job. What you're doing is pretty risky. I said, thanks, Mom. I'll take that under advisement. You're also going to learn how to identify and change the precise reasons why you haven't gotten what you want. And even if you've attended business trainings before or other seminars or taken other courses, doesn't really matter. You're also going to understand why money is more emotional than you think. This is a key point. If you can take the emotion out of money, you've really got it licked. This is why I said before, if you're willing to do it for free, then you're not attached to the money. Very important point. You're going to discover your true purpose in life that energizes and activates your spirit. You're going to change your thinking and the emotional dynamics around it. You're going to free yourself from all these limiting patterns and self-sabotage that maybe you've been dealing with. And believe me, I went through a lot of self-sabotaging patterns. I mean, I never realized how many I had when I started this journey. But if I can get through them, so can you, and you may even get through them more easily, especially if you don't have the education that I do. That master's degree really hurt me in this arena. It really did, because I always thought complex. What you're going to notice here is in this system, you're going to realize that these things are very, very simple, easy to do. The problem is we think it's too simple. Have you ever run into that problem where you just thought this is so simple, it just cannot work?
It can't possibly work, sure.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I'm talking about. You got to get rid of that. That's a mindset problem. What I've discovered is, and you'll discover the same thing, is if you just follow what's in this program, you're going to figure out that the easy stuff is exactly what works. It's not all this complex stuff, things like that. That's not it. You're going to learn how to change your mindset. You're also going to learn how to successfully launch your own business, even if you're currently employed or unemployed. It really doesn't matter. You're going to learn the key characteristics of what to do. And the other thing is, now this program normally retails for $895, but we're going to make a special offer for everybody here. But let me tell you what else we're going to include here as well. We're going to include an additional bonus here for the first 47 people. It's the 21-day interactive online training course. And what we're going to do, this This also retails for $795. We're going to give you 4 tickets to that so you can actually have a support group to go in there with you. Because we know that you got to have like-minded people where you can talk and share ideas. And we want you to succeed. That's a $3,580 value. And it is interactive. There's video in there. You're going to have tests. There's a lot of good things in there. And we're constantly updating. So you also get that. A second bonus is the 90-day subconscious wealth conditioning program. Now, this is a program that I created for myself to keep me on track. It gives me things to do on a daily basis. Still use it today. I had never even thought about giving this out to clients, but I'm including this now. It's a $597 value. Literally, in 20 to 30 minutes a day, it will focus you to get laser beam focused. I've had clients, literally, this is the only thing that they used after understanding the methods that I teach in the Wealth Without a Job program, and literally 2 to 3 weeks have doubled and tripled their income. And they didn't even use everything on the daily sheet.
Wow.
I had one client only used, I think it was 25% of the daily sheets, literally tripled her income in 2 weeks. I mean, unreal. Another bonus I'm including is some bonus audios that is valued at $197. We're including those because it helps you get through some of the processes that are in there, and it just makes it easier. So we're including those as well. And those are normally ones that I gave to my private coaching clients. Now, you're going to get all this. It's over a $5,000 value for only $195.
Wow. And this was going to be my next question is what are the short-term, sort of the immediate things that people can expect to experience as well as the long-term? I mean, you've given us so many examples of how quickly you shift your mindset and there's cash in your pocket. But what would you say if I said, what's the thing that they could expect to start experiencing right away with this? Does it have to do with the mindset?
It really does, because the majority of the focus is going to be around mindset. Because guess what? 90% of success is all about your mindset. Once you have that correct, you're going to watch and see some immediate shifts, because you're going to look at things much differently. You're going to see opportunities you never saw before. You're going to do things that you've never done before, and you're going to be okay with it. Most people, what happens is they have this scattered energy. And one of the things that our students have told us that happens almost immediately, especially when they use that 90-day wealth conditioning program, they have told us that it literally goes from being a light bulb that just scatters light all over the place, but it's kind of dim, to having a laser beam focus. And then you're right on track, and you start making progress immediately. There have been people, literally, that have been very scattered in their sales results. Next thing you know, they start using the program. Boom, they're targeted, they're focused, and they start making money. That is the things that our students have told us. But the biggest thing is, even if you're not making money immediately, because maybe you have a shift in thinking that needs to happen. And for like one of my students, would it be okay if I shared another student?
Absolutely.
And what happened with them?
Sure.
Okay. This person here was a web designer, okay? Mm-hmm. And he had some serious issues with his mindset, okay? Now listen to what he has to say. This is Joshua, okay? He says, and this is what he sent me. He said, "I'm not really pleased with you." He said, "In fact, I'm downright angry." I says, "Oh dear." I said, "This is not going to be good." He said, "Since taking your training just 4 months ago, our business has exploded." He says, "Your techniques work so well that we're now inundated with customers. We're in the middle of some very severe growing pains due to the crush of new business." He says, "We were in no way prepared for the success that kicked in our door and is carrying us along." He says, "We've increased our sales by 400%. A little warning would have been nice." Now, here's another interesting thing about Joshua, okay, that I will share with you. When they first started this whole thing, he started with a $30,000 a year. Then he experienced a $30,000 month, and very shortly thereafter experienced a $30,000 day.
Wow.
And it was all because of mindset and what you will learn in the Wealth Without a Job program.
Wow. Well, I mean, if you haven't yet, just click on the special offer button on this page to see for yourself what an amazing package this is. You'll be glad you did. And you have just been amazing. Thank you so much, Dr. Andy. You've just been fantastic, and I so appreciate you taking this time. And you've just been so clear, and I love your energy. It's I don't know. I think everybody here, if they're experiencing what I did, feels like, wow, it really doesn't matter what my situation is. I really can do this, and it really is about mindset. So I think you've probably helped quite a few people make that decision, and I appreciate that, because that's what I'm here to do. I'm excited about being able to help free people. So thank you for that. Is there any final words that you want to share with us? You know, Dr. Andy's final words of brilliance, anything that we need to know as we head off today?
Absolutely. And by the way, thank you for bringing me on this call. It was a lot of fun for me being on here with you, and I love your energy as well. Obviously, you must be living your life on purpose, because otherwise you wouldn't be this excited.
I feel pretty good about it.
And obviously you found the right vehicle that expresses your purpose.
Well, thank you for saying that. That's very kind. And yes, I would even attest to what you said earlier. You can have multiple vehicles that express your purpose and that can be successful. And I actually live that every day. I am fortunate enough to have figured that out. And so that's why I'm so passionate about what you're teaching here, too. I think it's so important. So thank you for bringing it to us.
Well, that's awesome. And my final parting words to everyone here is this. Whether you buy my system or not makes no difference. It's totally up to you. Here's the thing. Make sure you make the decision and a commitment to succeed. That is what I want for you. And make sure that you go get something that improves your mindset. Because if you don't get something that improves your mindset, I guarantee you, absolutely, I have seen this so many times, and I've gone through it personally, and it's not fun. You will just have absolutely crushing results if you don't do that. Focus 90% on your mindset. Figure out what your purpose in life is, however you do that, and get into the right vehicle. When you have those key components, and again, I can't stress this enough, have you made the decision even to succeed, and have you made the commitment to that decision?
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for being here. You're all fantastic. And make the decision. You're ready. I know you're ready, or you wouldn't be here. And Dr. Andy, thank you so much. You're just amazing, and I'm so thrilled to have had you here. And I hopefully we'll be able to do this again.
I would like that, too. I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. And I look forward to our next time.
Sounds great. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.